right, so I'm going to give more specific details about ecosystems. So ecosystems are made up of living and non-living things. So that's an important piece to remember, because remember, ecology is the study of the interactions between those living and non-living things. So we do actually have specific terms for what are the living pieces and what are the non-living pieces of an ecosystem. So those living pieces are called biotic factors. So these are living things that influence ecosystems. So bio means life, biotic factors, living things. So we also have abiotic factors. So these are non-living things that influence ecosystems. So A oftentimes means not, bio, living, not living things, right? So biotic, biology is the study of living things, bio, living, biotic factors are living things that influence ecosystems. Abiotic are non-living. So organisms in an ecosystem are divided into 3 different categories. So they get larger as we kind of move out. So the smallest segment of an ecosystem are its individuals. So this is one single individual of a species. So this is like a deer, a wolf, that bear. So these are all individuals. And then we have populations. So populations are all the individual members of one species in a habitat. So when we talk about populations, this would be things like the wolf population, the deer population, the bear population. This is all the bears that are in this ecosystem. And then there's communities. So that's all the combined populations in a habitat. So when we talk about those communities, it's all of the animals in an ecosystem, or even all of the plants in an ecosystem. So when we talk about those communities of animals, that would be, okay, the deer, the wolves, and the bear, they all live in this ecosystem. So all those populations combined serve as a community. So we've talked about how we have individuals, populations, and communities. Well, those populations are actually one specific species. And those species each have their own ecological niche. So that ecological niche is extremely important because that's an organism's role or job in an ecosystem. So each species has its own unique niche. So no 2 native species to that ecosystem are the same. And that's going to cut down on competition. So kind of that survival of the fittest attitude. Whoever was best at that job got to keep it. So a niche can include its place in the food web, its habitat, or its relationship with the other species. So when we talk about an animal's niche, you're really looking at what are all the roles that it plays. And there's going to be one of those roles that it's really well suited for, and that's going to be its niche within that ecosystem. That's going to be that job that that animal has to do. That's going to especially be really important when we're talking about invasive species and keystone species. So keystone species have an unbelievably important job to do. For instance, gopher tortoises dig big burrows, and that's going to create habitats for all those other animals when they leave. So this great big tortoise is going to dig this great big hole, and all the other animals can hide in it like it's a cave. And that's that gopher's niche in that ecosystem, is to create those. But he's going to do that naturally by his own burrowing instincts.